Okay. So, this is Usagiroll podcast 9?
Yes.
9.
Yes,
I
it's
believe
9.
it's 9, yes.
We're not like Windows, okay?
Okay.
And if
Fine.
it's not, then this is episode 10.
Or it could be episode 8.1.
No.
So, the big topic we've got today is funding for anime outside of Japan. Today on the cast, I will be your host, Biopower, and with me today I have Aidenraine,
What up?
Sonic,
Hello.
and Swagger.
Hi, guys. Okay.
All right, off to a rolling start here. So,
Should probably put a break on that rolling stop then.
Just keep it rolling.
So recently, a lot of bigger companies have starting getting into the game with anime. Just recently, we saw Netflix has really been expanding their territory. This season, they nabbed another show before the season even started. So we won't actually they nailed 2. And Amazon Prime has started simulcasting Cabaneri, big hit from the producers of Attack on Titan. So, with big companies like those two entering this game more seriously, do you think that anime is being recognized more seriously as a medium, guys?
Well, I definitely think that it's starting to come more into the public eye in the West. With the Amazon deal, I was pretty surprised to see just how much they're spending on it, really. I guess the rumor is it's upwards of like $150,000 per title, and they have a deal.
Correct.
I think they have a deal for two years or more
2
for
years.
Noitamina block shows. So basically anything that
yeah.
that airs on Noitamina block that isn't somehow licensed by like Aniplex of America or any other company that might have a first dibs offer on the title will end up being for Amazon service with the worldwide broadcasting rights through their service. But yeah, it's 150,000 per title is what the rumor is, I guess, and the highest any one title, even during the boom years, was somewhere around like 75,000 at the most or so.
Wow, so they're really throwing money at it.
They must really see the market expanding and being there to be throwing that kind of money at it.
They got like
No, yeah.
worldwide territories for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I completely forgotten. They also started. They made a partnership with Noitamina also.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Swagger, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think that anime is becoming more popular in the Western eye, as Sonic said, like especially with Netflix. Like even though they don't simulcast stuff, like they release everything like, you know, when the season basically ends, but you know, it's higher quality because it's kind of like a Blu-ray release in a way. But
Yeah.
Because you get the dub and the
Yeah.
subs at the same time, yeah.
so yeah, like I think it is expanding a little bit more, especially with Netflix, since that's such a popular streaming service, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think it's getting popular, or more popular in a way, if those types of services are trying to get into the game.
Definitely a resurgence to the boom years
Hmm.
going on right now. So the question will remain, how
Yeah.
long can this momentum keep up?
Yeah. Well, like,
No, I remember in one of our former podcasts, we kind of touched on how the whole seasons are being split
Mhm.
up recently, and I think at the end we were asking around what these companies kind of need to do. I remember that my response was they need to nab a big time title, and this Cabaneri show really could be that big time title that they were looking for.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Or like you said, like I think if they don't like grab a big time title, they might abandon the anime industry because what if it doesn't make them enough money or anything like that? Maybe this is just like a test, in a way, or like an experiment.
Something I saw that was interesting along with it is that they introduced a monthly plan just for their video service. I forget what the exact amount was, but I think it's $9
Hmm.
a month. Yeah, $8.99. Yeah, so that's definitely something people might like as an alternative to having a full-time Prime membership for a year, which is like
Hmm.
$99 for the regular rate. And say you just want to binge whatever show in the season, wait till it's done
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
for that $9. That might be worth it now.
Yeah, that's true. Although I gotta say that Amazon Prime is probably one of those, probably one of the best deals out for a subscription that you can honestly get right now. Aiden, what do you think?
Uh,
Just waiting here in the shadows.
It's like
waiting in the shadows, waiting to pounce like a ninja. No. um, I don't know if I would really see or say that they're seeing it as like a legitimate like form of entertainment. They're definitely seeing it as a form of income.
Yeah.
Suppose we might be jumping a little bit there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So let's see. We also talked about before last season, Funimation starting to. I mean, they're outside of Japan, so we'll count them in this too. They're tossing money into the anime business also in terms of
Mhm.
funding, with Dimension W, and we've already seen it. It was pretty popular. I honestly didn't. But anyway, it was pretty popular, and Toonami really got on board with this one. So Funimation is really taking a chance, but it seems like if it's a show that was made for Toonami, they can really expand with this, and I think they'll probably do a lot more of this in the future too.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting with Funimation is they're a part of the production committee for the Dimension W, and it's been over a decade since that was a trend in the licensing business as far as the North American companies are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I believe, Pioneer, who later became Genion Entertainment,
Mhm.
who initially started to do licensing as a way of being a part of the production committee as well. So that way they would have a hand in the show and not just have license to the show. But because of that, they're footing part of the bill of its creation. So if it flops, that's hurting them more so than if it's just something that they picked up from another company. And eventually it did come back to bite them because they had to close up shop. And
Yeah.
because there was several other companies that were following suit, like ADV, they also had a similar plan. They were being part of production committees for several titles, but they didn't.
And they also shared the same fate.
Yeah, they didn't really didn't really have any breakout successes though. Like I think Genion had Samurai Champloo and Hellsing, but probably the most noteworthy ones for ADV were Kino's Journey and Kaleidostar, and those didn't really sell very well, so that it kind of came back to bite them, and then they ended up having to going to bankruptcy and restructuring and coming out as the current day Section 23, which is basically Sentai Filmworks.
Mm.
So the interesting thing to me is that now Funimation is getting in on that again. So they must see the market as having changed enough that it's something worthwhile to do again.
Yeah, Sonic. I was kind of wondering, what do you think the difference between now and then really is? Is it just because we're hitting another one of those booms?
I definitely think it's a boom time for the market. If you look at the subscriptions just on Crunchyroll alone, those have been exploding in the last 3 to 4 years. It was something like, I don't know, 200 to 300,000 subscribers just 3 years ago.
Oh,
And now they're projected to be upwards of 750,000 paid subscribers. So, I mean, they've more than tripled their subscriber base in just a few short years. So that tells me that the interest has definitely picked up and the market has definitely picked up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's talk about the other big source besides these huge major companies really getting into funding major anime projects. There is also crowdfunding, which is really starting to catch on. It's been around for a little while now, but there's been a few examples in the past. One that I can think of is Time of Eve was done as a Blu-ray release through crowdfunding. Most recently, we've seen Funimation is crowdfunded a English dub for Escaflowne.
That's interesting.
And the thing with the Escaflowne dub is basically Funimation would have done it anyways if they knew there was enough demand, but because they don't know what the demand is since the show is so old relative to the stuff they're doing now, they were basically using it as a platform to gauge interest more so than to gauge whether or not it's a viable thing to dub.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. They don't necessarily need to put the money into it. I mean, they've
Yeah.
got the money, but they just wanted to check the market and see if it was...
I see it as like a test case for similar series that are older maybe and they're considering giving them dubs. This might be
especially since
just
they've
testing the
lost a lot of
waters.
their older series. Yeah, they've lost a lot of their older series in licensing too, haven't they?
They just
So
they
gotta,
just started to lose some of their major, at least a couple major titles in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Darker Than Black. Also,
You're talking about Funimation, right?
Picano and the Full Metal
Yeah,
Alchemist
Funimation.
movie. The first one, The Conqueror of Shambhala.
Yeah, so they're probably being really protective of the titles that they
Right
have
now.
left and trying to see if they are they're worth really putting into release.
Mm-hmm.
Something of note is they still have a bunch of titles they license rescued from Bandai.
Escaflowne being one of them.
Yes, and
Yeah.
a lot of those have yet to be released. So the Escaflowne Kickstarter could be, like I said, testing the waters to see if it's worthy of their funds to dub any of the other shows that didn't get a dub previously in a re-release, or if they did, to maybe redub it or redub sections, or even OVAs or something that didn't come across the first time.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and they did it all through Kickstarter. They met their goal, and it looked like they were. I checked the website today, and it looked like they were looking at other projects to start doing too. So, looks like they'll be trying this out a little longer. Another one I mentioned, Time of Eve. I think it's Pied Piper. They're also doing an English dub of Skip Beat.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Also kind of testing the waters there if there's interest in the dubbing.
Okay. So you think this is more testing the waters than we want to do this, we want to get as much money from them as we can?
Well, I think it works both ways.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously they want profit from it, but I think specifically in Skip Beat's case, they know the market is limited, and it's really hard for them to even gauge what kind of interest there would be in a dub. As much as they want to dub it, they don't really know. So the Kickstarter is a way for them to hedge their bets in that regard.
Okay. A really big one that gathered a lot of news was Under the Dog.
Yeah.
And that one was very popular for a little while and then really seemed to get derailed.
The interesting thing with that was it was initially touted as the kind of the project to bridge the gap between Japan and the Western audience. The selling point on the Kickstarter was this is something that will be heavily Western influenced. There will be a dialogue and feedback between the Western audience and the Japanese creators. And then I don't know how many months it was, a few months after the Kickstarter ended, we come to find out the initial person who put the thing together and made those claims would no longer be in charge of the overall project and was handing over full control to Kinema Citrus. And they didn't really have anybody there that was as proficient in English and as out there on the social media as the other person was. So that whole idea of being like the thing that the Western audience would connect with as far as the creators in Japan and influencing them directly with the back and forth sort of didn't really happen with it. But it was a successful project on what they were claiming, at least, and it actually comes out later this month. So I guess we'll find out just how well it turned out sometime after this podcast.
Yeah, it's just a huge mess in terms of things. I saw that unlike Funimation and Pied Piper, it wasn't really they did crowdfunding to do. They wanted creative freedom. They didn't want to be, like you said, they didn't want to do just the original otaku market or anything like that. So to do that, they were able to run their own company and run this whole program the way they wanted. And then they didn't because they didn't have the production committee. They didn't have the right management for it. They ended up, the two partner companies ended up fighting over the direction of this and split. They managed to reach their goal before it ended, but they then got like overly ambitious and like they wanted an LA premiere, they wanted a full feature film in the future, and there just wasn't that market for it.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of promises being made. And then there was a lot of drama later with the person making the promises and eventually him resigning from the project entirely due to that fact. And now it's just kind of in the hands of Kinema Citrus to deliver something that will at least come close to the expectations of the original project, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's sad to me that it didn't become that bridge like they were touting, though. Between the
well, they wanted a 26 episode series.
Well, I mean, they were touting it to be the bridge between the West and Japan as far as connecting with the creators directly.
Oh,
like this was your chance to speak with the creators as a backer and get an idea of what they're work is like and what their ideas are, and then give your own feedback on it. But now that that bridge is lost, that interpretation between the Japanese and the English is lost. It's just another project being done on a timeline, which is the sad part for me.
I did. To give you an idea, also, I thought this was really interesting. Originally, they were planning on doing, or they might actually still be doing, a poll for the fans to choose the voice actors.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know. I just think that's too much power for the fans, honestly. I mean, the director knows what they want. You haven't seen the whole thing right away. You don't know. You're just going to pick these really popular voices. I mean, can't have Johnny Young Bosch as every character in the thing. So.
I don't care.
I'm sure he would try really
Do
hard.
this guy.
I mean, I'm not sure if it was to pick them outright or just to like have a narrowed down list for the auditions.
Yeah, that'll work, I guess.
I'm sure that they would have the director in on choosing at least the final candidates.
Yeah. But so I mean, you can just kind of see there's a way that this crowdfunding stuff can go completely awry.
There's definitely a risk to it, both on the part of the people that are backing and then on the side of the company that's responsible.
Yeah. I forget. Was Fooly Cooly the new sequels? Those were for Toonami, weren't they?
I think.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, Adult Swim, Toonami.
Adult Swim. I think it was Adult Swim.
I think they were on the production committee of the original show, so I think that's how it got greenlit. Then they said they wanted more, and they were willing to pony up for it.
It's just a weird timing thing. I don't know.
I mean,
they're
all coming out of the woodwork.
Broadcasting.
I mean, they didn't agree to just one season, too. They were like season 2 and 3.
They're definitely seeing a resurgence in the ratings, I think.
There must be something.
There's definitely a rising tide going on all across the different platforms, as you can see with the competing nature and all of this.
So, kind of closing up on crowdfunding, do you guys think that crowdfunding can become a go-to for producers and niche shows? Just those shows that don't necessarily sell well to an overall culture, but I don't know, still very popular in a sense with a niche group.
I think it will depend on the show.
It's going to depend on the show and the popularity of it, I guess. It's like, if you were going to fund it, it would take a long time depending on the popularity of the show, you know?
And it'll also depend on the goals for the show itself, if it's supposed to be a long thing or something shorter, if it's supposed to be something that's catering more towards Western ideals or something that's trying to bridge the gap and be kind of a mix between Japanese ideal and Western ideal. I mean, there's a lot of different content that could be made, and the question for me is really, what are the intentions of the creator behind the project? And then that will give you the idea if crowdfunding is the right way to go, or if finding investors with like a production committee or similar is a better way.
Yeah, because aren't there like a lot of projects still in Kickstarter right now that haven't been?
There's a lot of stuff. I'm not sure how many specifically have
for
to
a
do
while
with
too.
Japanese animation being brought to the West, but
Yeah.
there's definitely lots of projects that are active on there with creators that are looking for a way to fund their thing.
Yeah. So Aiden, do you think through crowdfunding maybe we could see Symphogear brought to the West?
Oh God.
Symphogear or Nanoha?
If that would be great. Hell, I might have to crowdfund that by myself, but
Everyone go crowdfund Aiden's Nanoha button to bring it to the West.
the problem with Nanoha though is the first 2 seasons were brought over by Genion, so I don't know if there would be any like
Yeah, they were probably part of the
lingering-
production committee.
yeah.
Didn't only the movies get released?
I think
I
the
don't
series
even
got
think-
released
I
initially, didn't it?
I don't think
Did
the
the TV
movies
series?
were ever released.
Yeah, I think the first
But-
TV series got released on DVD. I'm not 100% sure on that
okay.
though.
Yeah,
I think you just need to go watch Nanoha. There's Sonic.
here's a good idea. Crowdfund to save Macross from Harmony Gold.
Oh,
You think that'll happen?
How much is that gonna take?
So for that one, we would have to usurp their rights to the
Usurp.
show. So that's kind of
Crowdfund.
save Macross.
out of the realm of possibility there.
Hashtag save Macross 2016.
Crowdfund to put Harmony out of business.
But definitely, crowdfund Symphogear and Nanoha. Let's do it.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, let's start it right now.
the trouble with those though is they were made initially for the Japanese audience and they flopped big time, at least sales wise, in the West. So
It's because people don't know
Symphogear?
good anime.
Symphogear was never released in the West, was it? Oh no, it did. Funimation, that's right.
Well, they had the
They
streaming
only did
rights.
it digital. Yeah, they never actually released it. It's one of those stupid licenses. Anyways, we're getting a little off topic, but I think
A
everyone
nice
who
long
knows know
digression.
what to watch.
Yeah.
Go watch Symphogear and go watch Nanoha.
Oh,
If you
Symphogear.
don't, you suck.
I still haven't watched none of it.
Do it, Swagger.
You've seen Symphogear,
Yeah,
though,
yeah, I've
so
seen
you're
Symphogear,
halfway.
so. It works.
back to the topic at hand.
Yeah, Sonic.
yeah, Nanoha
there was a
was
pretty big
released on DVD
deal-
in 2008 initially
Okay. Just didn't see that
by
at the time.
Funimation.
But
and
you
it
know,
flopped.
yeah. Higurashi was just released by
Right,
Sentai,
yeah, that was
though,
recent too.
and that one flopped
last year.
too. I think it's doing a lot better than it was. I don't know.
It might
Anyways,
with the boom.
Sonic. Kadokawa and Crunchyroll had a pretty big deal between
Mm-hmm.
go down recently. Can you give us big details on that?
Well, the basic thing first is that it was in my opinion, a response to the Amazon Prime deal for the Naitamina block of shows, which I believe was a couple of years at least. The Kadokawa and Crunchyroll deal is for any Kadokawa titles outside of Asia for the next year. So basically they will have rights to I think it's worldwide besides Asia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Kadokawa titles for the next year. And the interesting thing, besides the fact that it's a response to the Amazon Prime deal there, is the fact that Funimation previously had a similar deal with Kadokawa, and this was basically Crunchyroll giving them the middle finger as well, because they stole their licensing partner away.
Poor
They
thing.
got NTR'd.
NTR.
So basically, What this means is a lot more moe is going to be coming to Crunchyroll.
Good. That's a good thing.
Oh, go.
Motherfucker.
World needs more moe. Moe.
No. Less
Needs more
moe.
We already had the moe boom.
And the
Yeah,
PR for that deal.
The moe boom is what killed the anime boom.
No.
In the PR for the deal, apparently, it says that Crunchyroll has more than 20 million registered users worldwide. And I had read before that they're projected to get up to 750,000 paid users. So it's a pretty big market.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Crunchyroll's gonna get like some of the titles that aren't kind of picked up or aren't licensed by, well, I mean not licensed, but like aren't being streamed on another site. Like I don't know.
Well, we're already seeing that somewhat.
Like maybe the catalog's gonna expand is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, the last few seasons I've seen them picking up a lot of the
Yeah, older
shows
titles
that
and stuff.
typically would get like orphaned for the season,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially the
Got a
shorts.
lot
Yeah,
of older shows.
hmm It's usually the
Crunchyroll puts
shorts.
some money into their shorts.
Yeah, they
don't
usually get most of the shorts anyway.
Oh,
I mean,
actually,
they do appear in the credits
They,
on some of them.
speaking of the production committee thing coming back in with Funimation earlier, Crunchyroll also did that, except with Oji-san and Marshmallow,
One of the worst shorts in the world.
which is the short. And it's interesting the difference in philosophy between Funimation and them. Funimation basically, with Dimension W, trying to appeal to the sci-fi fan in the West, and Crunchyroll going with a short that's cheap, inexpensive, easy to make,
hmm
And too much moe.
and kind of that very very niche title that could get a small cult following, I guess. And it's just interesting to see that they're both getting on production committees now.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
It's their big business.
So now, yeah, they're investing back the capital that they've gained from the subscribers coming into the service, into the industry itself. So I guess in a way, those who are subscribing are helping the industry, and indirectly through them.
Right.
Yeah. if they'll put a little bit more money into their.
Yeah,
Right.
the video player does need updating,
And their site in general.
and the site in general.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good on mobile, but
Yeah, it's actually
the
really good
site
on mobile.
needs-
But
Funimation has been updating, so they're getting better. They got a new site
Yeah.
coming.
So they're using some of that new money that they're getting from this some of these deals.
But in comparison to like Amazon Prime and Netflix, it's chump change, because they're walking around with God knows how much money that they're throwing out at these
Yeah.
titles, whereas Funimation and Crunchyroll are just kind of cowering in the corner, hoping that they don't throw out any more, because if they do, they could be in real trouble as far as losing a lot of the simulcasts.
Yeah.
Speaking
That's
of
their lifeblood.
Speaking of Netflix, they are doing a collaboration with Production IG to create their own Netflix original anime.
oh yeah,
Yep.
forgot about that.
Oh yes. And this is one of those that's going to be the first completely international
Yeah.
international release
Yeah, the
worldwide.
It's called
Brief-
Perfect Bones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Perfect Bones.
brief rundown on it is they will be part of the production committee, obviously, and they are
It's the way it's done now.
and they are basically going to have the whole series done. So I guess dubbed, subtitled, the whole works, ready to go day one. So it's going to be the first show that's just done all at once for so many.
Wow.
I'm not sure how many episodes it is. I think it's 12 or 13, but
I think it's 12.
yeah, all 12 or however many episodes will be done and binge watchable all at once. It's opposing to the regular weekly broadcast in Japan, where it's always been we have to wait until the last episode's aired in Japan, and then it can be brought
Yeah.
over and dubbed and all that. So this is the first of its kind in that it's all going to be done at once. There won't be a time crunch for the animators, so that the animation won't
Thank God.
they won't be as sloppy, hopefully, because of that.
Yeah. More time seems like a good idea. Yeah.
No deaning.
Although Deanimation
Yeah.
has been getting better with
Dude,
Not-
Konosuba.
Not Dean, like the animation, but
Rock-
they've been getting
Rakugo
some good
was
titles.
pretty good. But yeah,
Yep.
the gist of it is first time that there's going to be a series that instead of airing weekly will air all at once on Netflix, bingeable, ready to go,
Bingeable.
That's just-
worldwide,
Yeah.
worldwide at that.
You know, your Netflix and chill on.
I suppose.
They've been doing their own TV series for the past few years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this
It's
is
the next step, I guess. Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
So now the interesting thing to me with the whole deal there is that that's something that Funimation and Crunchyroll can't do. They don't have that kind of money to throw at something like that, where they can just be like, yeah, we're going to be funding this whole production and have it all done at once instead of the weekly thing where they're going to do it like the regular
No,
broadcast.
exactly. That's amazing.
If anybody
it's
could
some-
do it, it would be Netflix or maybe Amazon.
Mhm.
And that's what they're doing. They're making their steps towards it. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Slowly.
So yeah, I'm interested to see how that turns out, and then I'm also interested to see if there will be a reaction by Amazon to do something.
Well, Amazon
Yeah.
Amazon hasn't yet created any of their own original TV series yet, though.
I think they have a few.
No, they have a couple.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
There was a political one. I forget what the name of it is.
Political.
I think it was
I know you're
Alpha
talking about,
House
but I
or
can't-
something like that.
Nazi
Can't remember
America.
the name, but yeah, they definitely have. So they're, I suppose this.
But-
I don't know. This
but
kind
yeah,
of stuff
that's-
takes more money.
That's a
than
live
regular
action
production, does it?
thing and not anime, so it'll be interesting to see if they'll do an anime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys think? I mean, Netflix and Amazon. Yeah, it sounds like they're already. They kind of started this, but do you think some of these other companies? Do you think Funimation's going to try and find a partner to tangle with, basically?
I mean it's really hard for Funimation budget-wise, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
They might go all in on something if they think that the Netflix thing works out, then they might try it. But I think they're waiting and seeing before they invest that kind of money with how it kind of shakes out here.
I mean, they're already expanding their borders. They're trying to get into Europe now.
Yeah, that's true. They're
That's true.
launching the Funimation Now site very soon in a lot of different territories. So it's all going worldwide all at once, and that means that the market is shifting beyond just the borders in Japan.
So you think some of these other companies should be a little scared with Netflix and Amazon making their moves?
Based on how much money they got to throw around, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Big boy coming around to push them into the sand.
Pretty much the bully on the block.
Okay. So I mean, we already saw that kind of divide, but in simulcast. But now it sounds like, in terms of production too, they're spreading.
Yeah,
So,
there's a whole new game starting.
Hmm.
makes me wonder if some of these newcomers, not Netflix and Amazon, but like what were Daisuke and other things like that, if they're gonna have to make a move like this too, just to keep
In
up.
the case of Daisuke, it's more a platform for certain anime companies in Japan to host their content. So it's not like its own thing so
Okay.
much as it is a consortium of, I think it's Sunrise is one of the major ones. But yeah, so many anime companies in Japan just hosting their content on it.
You know, I'm just like saying, like Daisuke did grab a few like big titles, like One Punch Man or God
Yeah,
Eater back in the day,
They're
and Tsukemonogatari. Before I
they're
got picked up.
competing with the streaming market
Yeah,
more so than like the production thing, because they're already producing the stuff because they're the companies in Japan already.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. Yeah.
Totally forgot about Daisuke.
Okay.
But yeah,
But,
they're still having
they're still
exclusives.
like on the down low, but they're still there.
What about Hulu? That'll be interesting if Hulu
Yeah.
tries.
Do they have anything this season? I don't think they do, right?
They've been taking whatever is on Anime
No
Network or
exclusives.
whatever, isn't it?
No exclusives for Hulu in the spring. The Anime Network has Onigiri.
Yeah. But yeah, Hulu makes their own shows, so I don't know. They're not doing anything yet, but maybe in the future.
But yeah, I could see Hulu being the next one to jump into the game if they think it's lucrative in some way.
And they could probably hang with Netflix and Amazon for a while.
Yeah, I mean Hulu's up there with Netflix now.
Amazon has the biggest bankroll, so
Yeah.
they can set they can set the tone of the game however they want.
I was like, oh, you want this?
Oof. Could completely change the whole market if they wanted
They
to.
invested that much into it, but
Kind of a scary thing when you think about it.
Well, when they throw twice as much as the second place at their experimentation, then yeah, we're gonna try airing anime, so we'll just get this one.
Yeah,
let's give them $150,000.
And
I think what'll be really interesting is when Cabaneri comes out on Blu-ray,
yeah.
and what they decide to do with how they decide to do that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they'll actually release it themselves or if they'll sub-license that to like Funimation or somebody else to release for them.
That's interesting too.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we've covered pretty much everything. Let's. Does anybody else have anything to say?
Watch Nanoha and Symphogear.
And
get ready for seasons 4 and 5.
Oh yeah, that's already like in the works already, or been greenlit for Symphogear.
Yep.
Yeah, look forward to that. Isn't like the advertising it or anything.
Anyway.
Aiden's totally not going to start a crowdfunding for this.
Totally.
I should. That would be great.
Besides Nanoha and Symphogear, though.
Don't forget, save Matt Cross from Harmony Gold.
Yeah.
that will never happen. You just have to find a way to get their company shut down by the government or something.
Yeah. That works too.
Scandal. Okay, Sonic, you got anything?
I guess with Netflix, another interesting thing is that they started to do a simulcasting now with the Kuro Murkuro. They previously were waiting completely until the end of the broadcast before they did anything, and it was all dubbed and subbed all at once for the binge watch. But I think the Amazon Prime move into the simulcast with Cabaneri kind of forced their hands now to have to start getting in on that simulcast action. And I think it was just a few days after the initial release, and they saw Cabaneri simulcasting, they suddenly said, "Oh, we need to get subs up, get this out quick." So that might be an early sign, if you will, that Amazon is already setting the tone for how things are going to go.
Let me just say I'm glad to be an Amazon Prime member right now.
If anything, I'm going to have to convert to there. But we'll see how it goes.
Dude,
well, I just use it for the shipping and everything. That itself makes up
shipping
for the whole
alone,
subscription.
yeah.
I think I am a member, but I'm not a Prime member or something like that.
Dude,
Probably
what's wrong
so.
with you?
I'm cheap like that, okay?
You're cheap? Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Well, I think that's the end of our podcast. I've been Bio, your host.
It's been podcast 8.1. I mean 9.
No, it's
No,
podcast Leopard.
9. Dang it. I said 10
God
again, didn't I?
Shameless plug time
Alright.
for...
Just look at the title under the video, okay?
Shameless plug
I
time
blame my notes.
for Kay and his Twitch.
Oh, gosh.
He's sad and lonely and in need of followers. Please head on over to twitch.com/Yandi Gandhi for the Smite Times.
Oh, we're promoting it.
God, we're just becoming a sponsor for everyone now. All right. I think that's it.
Oh.
Bye, guys.
Okay, that was much. Alright.
Later. Fuck this shit. We're done.
Stop
I
recording.
press stop, right?
Stop.